Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 9th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You got the state of California. Take a look across the Gulf of Alaska. Some of this energy back here is going to try to make a run at the state of California and the southern Oregon coastline here over the next few days. And towards the weekend, it is going to bring somewhat of a cooling trend, and then we'll take a look at the extended forecast and see what we can expect. Are we going to stay warm? Are we going to cool things down? What's potentially lurking as we move on through the month of October? And do we have any hope of, bringing those temperatures down? We'll look at that in some detail here as we go through the video this morning. But first, taking a look, this is last night's European ensemble mean. You can see the state of California here, and this is the 2-meter temperature anomaly. That's the surface. And as you guys know, we've been well above average here, setting records across much of the region for the last week and even longer than that for some areas. So if I go ahead and put this into motion, you can kind of see this running total as we go towards the weekend. But then you see a little bit of a cool down here. We're knocking these temperatures down at least some for some areas, and you kind of see the coastal areas, especially across some of the Bay Area, have been very warm, and coastal regions down through Southern California also. So this is going to be welcome, but still we are dealing with some areas that are still going to be above average for this time of year. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, this is the time of year where those average temperatures are dropping as we go through the month of October, and of course on into towards November and on towards the winter months here. So we have that working for us as well, of course. Taking a look at Sacramento yesterday, the National Weather Service, Modesto, Stockton, and a Red Bluff there set record highs for yesterday, but those are on the wane for the most part. Unless you're in Phoenix, where he seems to be sitting on a daily record high every single day. And you can kind of see this is for today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, every single day, all the way on and through Sunday, has a forecast high that will be the daily record high. So you are witnessing history for Phoenix, Arizona. They're just absolutely insane heat as we go on in through the fall month, the fall time period, I should say. Now, taking a look at the artificial intelligence, the European model, you can see that Gulf of Alaska troughing here, and there's the state of California. Hawaii would be to the bottom left. I'll put that into motion, and then you can see there is that system right there, but it will be degraded as it approaches the coastline, but that is going to bring some cooling. And then the Gulf of Alaska trough just gets roaring here, and we're trying to get a piece of that, and maybe we will as we go on in through the mid portion of October. Somewhat of an inside slider here, but this would definitely be disrupting the pattern of the ridging here across the southwest USA. That could also bring a couple of threats with it in itself as we start to build some high pressure over the interior areas, and we could start to drive an offshore wind event as we get into this time period as well. We'll be watching that closely. I think you see at least temporarily maybe a ridge building in the wake of that. Who knows? And then maybe some more systems for the Pacific Northwest. Also, something I want to point out, the Europeans now showing some tropical system activity here as we go off in towards the later portion of October. We'll just be watching that on a daily basis. Right now it's not showing any track into the southwest USA. Now, taking a look at the artificial intelligence, what would this mean as far as precipitation? You can see out here, it's a very well-developed mid-latitude cyclone, 992 millibar low, but you can see it is filling by the time it moves towards the west coast, and we just get kind of a glancing blow from that, but we're trying to get some of that precipitation down to the Bay Area, maybe into the Sacramento Valley regions. No promises, though. And then as we scroll off in towards Monday night, you can see another system trying to get in here. And then this troughing that starts to open up across some of the west. And that would bring some precipitation chances with it. Those systems are usually fairly dry, but you can see it does bring a frontal system with it. And then we go off into the future where some high pressure may build in the immediate vicinity or the immediate vacation of that frontal system, let's say, and then we go off into the future. You can kind of see that tropical system roaming around out there, but no threat to land as of right now. We'll be watching that and taking a look at 100-meter wind speeds. You can see the north wind, pretty typical as we go through this time of year here for some of the coastal areas, but then the system rolls in and we change things, and some blustery southerly winds here are showing up for mainly Bay Area north as that system rolls through this weekend here. And then if we take a look here at smoke really quickly, we're going to go over the last 48 hours or the next 48 hours. You can see there are some fires ongoing out there, but still, relatively speaking, we are doing quite well as far as smoke is concerned. And, the fire season for a lot of California can run into the month of November here pretty easily. So we'll be watching that. And taking a look here at the outlook here, this is for today, Wednesday. Just don't let your guard down. There's some of these areas in yellow are low risk, but there is still some moderate risk. And the W means high risk triggers for wind. That W would mean, for example, in portions of northwest Nevada as well. So yeah, heads up for that. Just keep that in the back of your mind. We still are in fire season here across California. And if I scroll out towards Friday, Saturday, Sunday, And we're not doing too bad here, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Now, taking a look at the artificial intelligence model, we're going to look a bit into the future here. There goes that system. It is degrading by the time it reaches the coastline. And then that trough wants to open up here along the west coast. The Pacific high fills in after that. And you can kind of see that strong offshore gradient start to develop here. So we'll be watching, the October 17th, 18th, 19th time frame for this high pressure over the Great Basin. Could potentially bring some stronger offshore winds, and of course that dries things out, especially out towards the coast, and then you can start to introduce some fire issues if you do get some of those fires going here when things get really dry. Taking a look at what kind of winds that would bring. There goes our initial system here, and then we wait for that deep trough to set up. Hopefully, we're going to get something there to change this pattern up. This is still no guarantee. We're looking pretty far out in the forecast. I got to mention that, but you can see how it would be driving some of these offshore winds across the region. You can see it all the way down across Baja Peninsula there and across some portions of California. So we'll be watching that over the next few days to see if that does come to fruition. And then you can see that tropical system out here south of Cabo. Now, taking a look at daily max 2-meter temperatures here. This is for today, and as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And while a lot of the places are going to be above average at times over the next week or so, our average highs are dropping off. So things are becoming a bit more comfortable, as you can see, as we're scrolling off into the future here. As these temperatures don't look too bad. I mean, it's still pretty warm across the deserts, of course. But yeah, relatively speaking, we are going to be doing better for sure. And this is Redding, California. The red line is the average high temperatures for this time of year. You can see we're going from the 80s now, and as we go through the month of October, you can see things dropping off into the 70s. By the time we get towards the end of the month, we're down below 75 degrees for Redding, California for the average high. So we have that working for this. Even if we are above average, temperatures are going to be more comfortable. This is Sacramento, something similar there as well. We're moving out of the 80s here as we go through the month, and when we drop back down for average highs into the 70s. So yeah, I know a lot of you guys will be looking forward to that. Bit of a cool down, relatively speaking, anyway. And Burbank, California, a similar picture here. You go back down into the upper 70s as you go through the end of the month, and we were in the lower 80s. And Redding, California, with this system rolling in this week, and you can kind of see a little bit of precip showing up in some of the models here. It's not a lot, but of course we're just kind of grasping at straws as we head through the month of October. Hopefully we can get some precipitation here. And Burbank, California, you can see you got to go way out there. Maybe that trough dropping down will bring a little bit of precipitation. Who knows? We'll be watching that. And another way to look at that here is you can see all 50 of the ensemble members on the European model. The control run is the initial conditions. We best understand them of the atmosphere. And you can see we're not expecting precipitation in the control run, but some of the ensembles do show some precipitation with that frontal system. But you can see many of the others don't show any precipitation at all. Then you can kind of see the random nature of things as you start looking out in towards mid-October, and maybe we'll get another system in here. Hopefully, cross your fingers. Here's a Burbank. You can see, it's kind of the scattered nature here as we go through the mid portion of the month. Just kind of most of the models say nothing, but you can see the control run actually has 1/10 of an inch as we go through the mid portion of October. So maybe we'll get to wring something out of that. We'll see. And Fresno on the flip side here, you're not looking at much. Some of the ensembles do show the very limited potential for some precipitation, but we'll watch that day by day. Here's a 6 to 10 day. I think this is the same one I showed yesterday. Above average signal here for a lot of the west, and above normal for Pacific Northwest. And maybe we'll start to change that up here for portions of California. We'll see what they issue today, and we'll revisit that tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of pattern change this brings. Hopefully it does come and we can switch things up a bit. But again, it is that time of year where temperatures are starting to fall off a little bit here. So anyway, hope you guys are liking the videos. Leave some comments below. We will continue to break things down day by day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.